everyone! Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about some great things to watch over Halloween. I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a huge horror film fan. I love horror films. I can just watch them by myself with the lights turned off, and yes, I get scared by them, but I absolutely love them. I want to share some great things to watch during Halloween that will really terrify you. Just to let you know, I'm not really going to be talking about the classics like Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, even like the Saw franchise. Obviously those films are iconic and they are great to watch during Halloween, but I want to try and bring a few different films to the table, and maybe if you go and watch them you'll really enjoy them. The first film I want to talk about is The Orphanage. This is a Spanish film about a woman who buys the orphanage that she grew up in and uses it to take care of sick children. One day her son, who's really ill, goes missing. Months go past and she thinks that he's dead, but then she starts being haunted by this ghostly-like figure of a boy with a bag over his head, and she believes that he's trying to tell her something. This film is scary but also really sad. You'll cry. Just to warn you. I wouldn't say it's your typical horror film. There is actually a really good storyline to the film. I highly recommend it if you want something that is scary but also will make you cry. Like, this is perfect. The next film I want to recommend is The Babadook. This is about a woman who is trying to get over the loss of her husband, and she's living with her little boy. One day she picks up a book to read to him and she doesn't really recognise the book, but obviously she just sort of like thinks, oh, I probably bought it from at some point and I just don't remember. So she starts reading the book and it starts off okay, but then it gets scarier and scarier, and then it gets really scary, and then the boy starts crying and she sort of like tries to get rid of the book, but then the Babadook comes to life. I love this film because there is so much you can say about it. I don't want to give away too much because I could really go into spoilers here. It's one of those films where as soon as you've finished watching it, you're going to go online and read through all the discussions that are taking place about this film, because there is so much to say and it's very symbolic, very metaphorical, and it is also scary. I really recommend this if you want something that is a bit more symbolic rather than the usual horror, stabbing people kind of films. The next film is one I absolutely love and has actually got quite a funny story to go along with it, and that is Julia's Eyes. This is another Spanish film on the list. Spanish make great horror films. If you haven't seen any, go and watch them. This is about a woman whose twin sister commits suicide. People believe that she committed suicide because she had lost her eyesight through this degenerative illness that she has, but her sister believes that she was actually murdered. So she goes on an investigation to find out what really happened to her sister. But the kind of twist thing is, it's not spoilers, you find out right at the very beginning of the film, so don't worry. But the main character, Julia, she is suffering from the same illness as her sister was suffering from. So she's trying to investigate her sister's death while also losing her eyesight. This film was terrifying. It was so scary. I would probably class it more as a thriller than a horror, but it literally terrified me so much. The funny story behind it, when I was doing A-level Spanish, there was a showing of this film going on at a nearby school, and then the director was at the school as well to do a Q&A afterwards. So we got invited to go along. So we asked our teacher, Julia's Eyes, what's this about? And our teacher said, I don't know, but it sounds like a romantic film, doesn't it? So we were all sitting around going, Julia's Eyes, it sounds so romantic. One of the scariest films ever. It was so scary. Definitely not romantic. Don't think it's a romantic film. I really love the way this film is shot. I love the way they use camera angles and lighting, and they really build up the tension a lot. It's a very tense film. So if you're looking for something like that, please watch it. It's fantastic. The next film I want to talk about is The Conjuring. This film is terrifying. I believe it's the first film with Annabelle in, you know, the doll. And it's about a couple of paranormal investigators. It's based on a true story, by the way. Just throwing that in there as well. But it's about a couple of paranormal investigators who go to this house to investigate the paranormal activities that are going on in this house. And they're all surrounding this doll called Annabelle. This film is really scary. What I really like about it is that at the beginning, it's not a spoiler, at the beginning you see the paranormal investigators going to houses and kind of debunking what people believe are paranormal goings on. So they say, oh no, you haven't got a ghost, it's just the pipes, for example. So when they get to the house and they see all these things going on and they say there's some really dark paranormal stuff going on here, you really believe them. Watch this with the lights on. Very scary. If you want straight up horror with ghostly goings on, watch it. It's so good. And the last film I want to talk about, which I saved till last because personally it's the scariest film I've ever seen in my entire life, and that is Sinister. Sinister is really scary. I watched it and then it was on like I watched it on like Netflix or something, and then I walked out of my room, someone walked past me in the corridors and I just screamed in their face and then just collapsed against my door. I won't watch it again, but well done for terrifying me so much. Sinister is about a man who is writing a book about this house where these people got murdered, but because, you know, he's a main character in a horror film, so they're not always the brightest in the world, he says, oh, I can't write this book. He's like struggling to write it. So he decides to go and live in the house where the people have been murdered. I would never do that, but he does anyway. He goes along to his house and he finds a box of Super 8 tapes. And when he watches them, each tape shows a really horrible, gruesome death. Really horrible. I hate those tapes. They're so horrible. But then also there's this kind of weird ghostly figure thing that is haunting the house as well, which is just terrifying. I really don't like it. It's not just jumpy. It is a jumpy film, but the thing that jumps out is just terrifying, or the things that jump out are terrifying. And also it's not always jumpy. Sometimes it will just be a shot of the main character eating a bowl of cereal, and then you just see something in the corner of the screen move, and at that point you like jump out of your bed and you run and hide somewhere because you go, no, I can't do this. It is really scary. If you want something that will make you never sleep again, watch Sinister. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it as a horror film, but also it's one that I'm probably never going to watch again. Those are some of the things I recommend to watch during Halloween. If anyone has any great recommendations for horror films, please leave them in the comments below because I'm always looking for new horror films to watch. I hope you liked the selection I chose. I tried to kind of mix it up a bit and choose different horror films. But if you've seen any of them as well, let me know in the comments and let me know what you thought about them. And for now, I hope you're well and I'll see you next time. Bye!